What is the most number of children a single woman has had in her life? You can't answer, you look it up. Any guesses? 18? The numbers have 19.
No, it's
Oh,
19.
all
How many?
19.
of them.
More.
That's a good answer.
It's more than 30.
Oh my God.
It's more than 40.
That one mother is in?
It's more than 60.
Okay.
69 children. A woman in Russia, she had 27 pregnancies, 16 pairs of twins, 7 sets of triplets, and 4 sets of quadruplets. And 67 of them survived infancy.
How many?
67.
No, how many altogether?
69.
Wow.
And this was in the 1700s. Can you imagine? That's just crazy. Okay. Anyways, I digress.
Mother's Day.
Yeah. Wow. So this Mother's Day contains quite a few firsts for my family. It's my husband's first Mother's Day without his mom because she passed away in February. It's also my first Mother's Day as a biological meme. This is my daughter's first Mother's Day because she's going to have a baby.
Hey.
We're all experiencing this holiday in different capacities. We're mothers, grandmothers, daughters, granddaughters, sisters, aunts, nieces, cousins, friends. We all celebrate mothers of every kind today. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines mother as a female parent, but also a woman in authority, specifically this period of a religious community of women or an older elderly woman. The word mother can be a noun, an adjective, or a verb. I prefer to think of the word mother as a verb rather than a noun. A noun is something that just sits somewhere on the shelf, does nothing, doesn't interact with the world. And mothers most definitely interact with the world. We all mother in different ways, men and women alike. To mother as a verb means to care and protect people. That is a responsibility we all have, is to care and protect for others. We all have a mother. We had to come from somewhere here on earth. Maybe she was a good mother, maybe not so much. Some of us are mothers as we've given birth to children. Some of us are spiritual mothers and have children of our heart. So what about the single dad raising children on his own? He has to be both mother and father at some point. We mother our fur babies. The noun mother is gender specific to women, but the verb mother is open to everyone. So I'm going to talk today about the Proverbs 31 woman. I remember hearing my pastor speak about this. He got up and said he was going to talk about Proverbs 31 woman, and I was all ready to be irritated, and I didn't want to listen. Because the Proverbs 31 woman in my mind was somebody who was meek, subservient, who bows down to her husband and allows him to dictate her life. At least that's what I thought at that time. I had read this chapter only a handful of times, and I vowed I would never submit myself to any man. I was too strong of a woman to allow for that, and I never understood how submitting could be beneficial to anyone in any relationship. But then God told me to listen. And at that moment, I realized that I'd already submitted myself to a man, and that I professed my faith and I promised to follow his word. So in other words, God kind of put me in check. So I'm going to read from the scriptures, Proverbs 31, 10 through 31, if you guys want to look it up, if you want to. I'm reading from the New Living Translation, so it might be different from the King James. And this section is titled, A Wife of Noble Character. Who can find a virtuous and capable wife? She is more precious than rubies. Her husband can trust her. She will greatly enrich his life. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. So if we stop right there and just dissect this beginning part of it, a good, supportive, trusting wife is a blessing to a man. A woman who partners with her husband, who's reliable and looks out for his interests, not only her own. She gives a man security that's greatly lacking in this world. She's worth more than any paycheck that you could ever earn. To bring the metaphor in, wisdom provides the same benefits. It's worth more than money. You can always trust it to make the right decision, and it's blessings for those who have it. The Bible often uses wisdom and women kind of interchangeably in the scriptures. That's pretty interesting. I think God knows that there's something about the intelligence of women. So, let's go on. She finds wool flax and busily spins it. She is like a merchant ship bringing her food from afar. She gets up before dawn to prepare breakfast for her household and plans the day's work for her servants, girls. Okay, that generally doesn't happen in my house, but
Yes, it does.
She goes to inspect the field and she buys it with the earnings that she has made, and she plants a vineyard. She is an energetic and strong hard worker. She makes sure her dealings are profitable. Her lamp burns late into the night. Her hands are busy spinning thread. Her fingers twisting fiber. So to stop there, this means that the wife of Proverbs 31 isn't afraid of work. She gets up in the morning and she gets things done. She extends a helping hand to the poor. She opens her arms to the needy. She has no fear of winter for her household, for everyone has warm clothes. A Proverbs 31 woman has a good sense of community and understands that it means for all of us to be doing life together. A characteristic of wisdom is grace to help others. The Proverbs 31 woman wife ensures that those under her care receive what they need: food, clothing, protection, whatever they need. And she is able to serve others out of her excess of her work and the leaning of her heart. She has so internalized her role as a provider that it extends past her immediate responsibilities into the community. So she helps others. She makes her own bedspreads. She dresses in fine and purple gowns. Her husband is well known at the city where he sits with the other civic leaders. She makes belted linen garments and sashes to sell to the merchants. So beyond everything else, she's very savvy. Does this mean we're not Proverbs 31 women because we don't make our own fabric and sew our own clothes? No, not at all. She knows that in our day and age, that time is better spent doing other things that she's more qualified to do, but there's others who know how to do that better for us now. The Proverbs 31 woman is educated about the world and the world of business. She knows how to use her skills to the maximum to provide for her family and her community. And she's not afraid to go interact with the world, whether it be as merchant or buyer. She knows how to use her strengths to the best advantages, and she fully realizes how valuable her efforts are. She also knows that there's always a Ross, Marshalls, or a TJ Maxx close by to go buy. Okay, go on. She is clothed with strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future. When she speaks, her words are wise. When she gives instruction with kindness. She carefully watches everything in her household and suffers nothing from laziness. So the Proverbs 31 woman not only knows her worth, she knows her responsibilities to herself. She would not be able to provide for others if she neglected her own needs, both physical and spiritual. She makes her appearance inside and out reflect her respected position as an influence in her community. Her greatest strength is her wisdom, her accurate judgment about the world, and her influence in it. And she is quick to share the wisdom she has gained to encourage others to reach their potential. Okay, to finish this up. Her children stand and bless her. Her husband praises her. There are many virtuous and capable women in the world, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceptive and beauty does not last. But a woman who fears the Lord will be greatly praised. Reward her for all she has done. Let her deeds publicly declare her praise. So she knows that as a partner in her marriage, she has tremendous influence on her husband's ministry and how he conducts himself in life. She can integrate her life, both domestic and professional, with her ministry in such a way that her husband has freedom to go serve. In fact, her reputation is so established that it bleeds off on him. The Proverbs 31 wife is a fierce provider and protector of those she cares about. She is wise to the ways of the world, but lives by the wisdom of God. As in the rest of Proverbs, these specific examples provide a metaphor for the larger truth. How an individual woman exemplifies these characteristics will depend on her situation, her gifts, and her abilities. But the key in verse 30, just as it is in the beginning of Proverbs 1:7, but a woman who fears the Lord should be praised. Now, what does it mean to fear the Lord? Fear has such a negative connotation of being such a bad thing. In Psalms 111:10, it says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all those who do his commandments. His praise endures forever." So rather than fear being a paralyzing terror, the positive fear of the Lord taught in the Bible is the key element to change. It helps us to have a proper, humble perspective of ourselves in relation to our awesome God. It helps us in times of temptation when we need to remember the serious consequences of disobeying God. It motivates us to be more like him. So I digress a little bit. So going back to my general assumptions of the Proverbs 31 woman was that she's perfect in God's standards. I always thought that's why God mentioned her in the Bible. We can't be perfect in any manner in this life, so why ascribe to be this perfect, virtuous woman? I had Proverbs 31 phobia. I was not afraid of submitting, as I finally figured out. I was afraid that I would never measure up. Fear that my faults would show through the cracks and God would never see me as a virtuous woman. However, he had an awesome truth for me, and I started seeing the Proverbs 31 woman in a completely different light. Through prayer and study, I now realize that I am a Proverbs 31 woman, strong in my own right, able to support my husband and family with grace and dignity because of the wisdom of the Lord and the grace and mercy that he provides to me every day. To understand what makes this nameless yet famous woman of these verses so significant is the real question. It's not the fact that she knows how to cook, clean, have babies, stay at home while taking care of her family. It's not the fact that she has great wisdom and business sense. And it's not because she's an all-around woman who can do it all. Of course, all of this is great and of value to any godly woman, but it's her fear of the Lord that makes her a woman of virtue. That's it. Her perfection does not stem from her Martha Stewart homemaking skills, but from her heart. Her perfection is not her own. It belongs to the one who owns her soul. The only reason why the Proverbs 31 woman can be perceived as perfect is because she's a product of the God that lives within her. The only thing that is perfect about her is him. The only thing that's perfect about me is him. She does not place her hope in her husband, her family, or her looks, but in God. Because of this, she will have faith to trust that God is in control and everything will work out for his good. She surrenders herself and submits to the Lord God. Because of her fear of the Lord, she is able to be all that she is. You see, the Proverbs 31 woman is the ideal example of a godly woman, not because she is perfect, but because all that she does is a relationship of her relationship with Jesus Christ. She is an example to every woman who wishes to please the Lord because she fears him first and foremost. And every area of her life will flourish because of that. That is something that doesn't apply just to married women, but to every woman. Just like us, the Proverbs 31 woman goes through many seasons in life that needs his grace and guidance. The Proverbs 31 woman is no different from the type of woman described in 1 Peter 3, 1 through 6 is read here. Wives, in the same way, you wives must accept the authority of your husbands. Then even if some refuse to obey the good news, your godly wives will speak to them without any words. They will be won over by observing your pure and reverent lives. Now many a man has come to realize salvation through the prayers of a faithful woman. To go on. To be concerned about the outward beauty of fancy hairstyles, expensive jewelry, or beautiful clothes, you should clothe yourselves instead with beauty that comes from within, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit which is so precious to God. This is how the holy women of old made themselves beautiful. They put their trust in God and accepted the authority of their husbands. For instance, Sarah obeyed her husband, Abraham, and called him her master. You are her daughters when you do what is right without fear of what your husbands might do. So in fact, this Proverbs 31 woman, she is a complete personification of godly women described throughout the Bible. She is a summary of all godly women. When we read Proverbs 31, 1 through 9, we see the words mentioned are by King Lemuel, a reiteration of what his mother told him when he was a child. Indeed, his mother understood what God expected from women. She understood what it means to be a woman after God's own heart. If anything, the Proverbs 31 woman should be an encouragement to women to pursue a more closer, intimate relationship with Jesus, not to be pressured to be perfect. In ancient times, Proverbs 31, 10 through 31 was a popular rhyme taught to young boys by their mothers to help them find ideal wives. In short, their mothers taught them to look for wives who aim to please the Lord and who don't live for beauty, charm, and vanity, which all fade in time. They understood that a woman who fears the Lord will live life in a way that is beneficial and that will satisfy God. Much of what Paul describes as being pleasing in God's sight in 1 Peter 3, 3 through 5. He calls cultivation of inner beauty something we can only receive from God, who is perfect beauty. Therefore, I've learned that all I need to do to be a Proverbs 31 woman is to put God first, focus on my relationship with Him. He desires to have our complete devotion. He wants to be our first love, and that, my beautiful women here today, is what He deserves. It's His blood that was shed for our sins and the high price of a sinless life, as in 1 Corinthians 6:20, which says, "For God bought you with a high price, so you must honor God with your body." Moreover, that makes us worth far more than rubies. It has nothing to do with our deeds or what we do for Him, as it says in Ephesians 2:8. God saved you by His grace when you believed, and you can't take credit for this. It is a gift from God. So rest assured, we don't need to be perfect to please God. We just have to have a desire to please Him and act on that desire.
Amen.
So, with that being said, let's honor all the mothers that are here with us today in body and in spirit. If you're here with somebody who is a mother, wife, whatever, come forward. I'm going to have you get a rose. Is that your candy to share with these women?
That means you.
Hmm?
That means you.
It's just a little token of appreciation for all the women that are here with us.
No, I was supposed to go up.
So the candy is for the moms.
Oh.
This is mom candy.
Is there gonna be Father's Day candy?
I don't know. I'm not there yet.
I got her. Hey.
You gotta take care of your home.
They're fighting over it.
I know, I got the honors on it. Very good. All right, They are. I don't know if you have children, but happy Mother's Day anyway.
Thanks, babe. Just hold on to it for a second. Just hold on to it for a
So let's
second.
pray together for just a minute, and then we'll change the order of service to go into communion, okay? So everybody. Father God, thank you so much for this beautiful day that you've given us. We would like to thank you for creating mothers to be here on earth with us, to assist you in your heavenly mission. We thank you that these angels sent from above were given hearts to love beyond compare. Loving God, as a mother gives life and nourishment to her children, so you watch over your church. Bless these women that they may be strengthened as Christian wives and mothers. Let them example their faith and love shine forth. Grant that we, their families, may honor them always with a spirit of profound respect. Grant this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
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 You made the Bible move.